is creative teaching, and how can digital technology support this? Creative teaching consists of inspiring children and making learning interesting and relevant for those that are in these lessons. The NACCCE define creativity as imaginative activity fashioned so as to produce outcomes that are both original and valuable. Teaching creatively and teaching for creativity are two very different things. Teaching creatively is defined by the NACCCE as using imaginative approaches to make learning more interesting and effective, whereas teaching for creativity is defined as forms of teaching that are intended to develop young people's own creative thinking or behaviour. Teaching creatively can help children better understand the topic that they are doing through active engagement in the topic. Children are more likely to become interested in it. Creative teaching sites state, if you are able to present material in many different ways, your students have a better chance of understanding it. Being a creative teacher encourages students to be creative learners too. So why is creativity important? To be a creative teacher, a teacher must be confident in trying new strategies and also imaginative to consider learning intentions and how to make these applicable and interesting for all children. Ken Robinson states that creativity is essential to the success and fulfillment of young people, to the vitality of our communities, and to the long-term health of the economy. Creative thinking should be taught across all of the primary curriculum as to promote interest and engagement from children in all areas. Harvard Business Blog backs this up by stating, thinking creatively about the future requires sensitivity to the complex, fast-moving world in front of you, the ability to anticipate unexpected disruptions, and a willingness to constantly reevaluate your most basic beliefs and assumptions. If creativity is of this much importance, then we must have a range of teaching to encourage creativity, and it is important that teachers can teach creatively. Robinson argues that education is a system that's supposed to develop our natural abilities and enable us to make our way in the world. Instead, it is stifling the individual talents and abilities of too many students and killing their motivation to learn. This argument is based on his belief that constantly teaching children the same thing in the same way is effectively making children less motivated to achieve. So how can digital technology be used to promote creativity? In schools today, nearly every classroom has access to computers, the internet, and interactive whiteboards, with some schools having access to iPads also. The use of these can help teachers be creative, be it using this to play noises whilst reading a text, to using a 3D interactive model of a mouth to teach children about hygiene. The possibilities really are endless. Cross states that it's great that Michael Gove is encouraging teachers to use gadgets in computer science to develop the vision, imagination and creativity, but also expresses concern about lack of digital technology in other aspects of the curriculum. The independent review of the primary curriculum states that subjects will be complemented by worthwhile and challenging cross-curricular studies that provide ample opportunities for children to use and apply their subject knowledge and skills to deepen understanding. An example of this would be using computing to progress the learning of history by using blog insights and Google Translate to learn about the Romans. As you can see, I am using Kidsblog to write an article on the Roman lifestyle. I then use Google Translate to edit this work into Latin before posting this back into my blog. I then demonstrate a teacher comment which is also in Latin, which prompts the children to use Google Translate to understand the teacher feedback. This activity can be done weekly to engage children in a different manner, and this also has links with language as well as history and computing. This use of digital technology promotes an engaging style of teaching and a creative use of technology to promote a child's development and involvement in the topic. In conclusion, I do not believe that schools are killing creativity as Robinson states, but I believe that through creative teaching and the integration of digital technology into schools, schools can create an active, creative environment where teachers and children engage in a creative and relevant fashion.